Garsfontein have done the SDC Nordvaal Cup three-peat. Wynberg are champions of the southern suburbs. Marius Schoeman joins the show to chat Marius Schoeman's sevens, and then Sput journeys to Hilton to find out more about their girls' rugby academy. That's tonight on Rugby on 216, brought to you by Thirsty. Hello and welcome to another episode of Rugby on 216, brought to you by Thirsty. As you will have noticed, it's just Cooks and I in studio today. Sput has left us. He's gone to Hilton to visit their girls' rugby clinic. You'll see that a little bit later on in the show. But Cooks, I think it's maybe a good thing that he's not here today.
No, it's a very good thing, Alex. Sput doesn't normally call me on a Sunday, but he's been playing my phone up. I've pretended to be busy and answer his phone calls. Yeah, I mean, what a weekend for Sput, obviously. He's the winner of the red cap for the season. I am gutted. So yeah, next Tuesday is going to be tough when I see him, because I know he's gonna keep on digging in, and it's, I don't know what I'm gonna do from now until March next year when the season starts. So like he's got all the bragging rights. They try to call me. I've deleted Sput. I think I might delete his number off my phone.
Just
might block him. Yeah, I just block him.
I think that would be safe, because it really came down to this week. The fact that it was literally neck and neck until last week. You were both on 70%. You'd both made 83 picks throughout the whole year. You'd both got 58 correct. And then 3 games to end of the season. The SDC Nordvaal Cup final. Garsfontein helped Mekaar. Wynberg sacks Bishops Rondebosch, the last 2 King Price Derby Series matches. You made 2 big calls. You said help Mekaar to win the Nordvaal Cup final, and you said Bishops after that draw over Sachs and draw over Wynberg, that at home they were going to beat Rondebosch. And neither of those came true.
Yeah, my big calls didn't big call, Alex.
No.
I needed them. I thought I'd give these sides to galvanize me, give me a bit of hope to carry me, but not a weekend. I mean, not a way. I mean, obviously, this is basically the last season of the season, and that the Garsfontein and Mekaar game was fantastic. Garsfontein was absolutely brilliant. You know, to go 3 in a row is fantastic. You know, Sput called it early, had bumps throughout the up and down. Mekaar was the form, so sort of going into it, but you know, we speak about championship pedigree. I think that we Sput leaned on, and I mentioned it as well last week. To go 3 times, they've been in a situation. They've been in the finals before. And Mekaar is still an incredible story. So many great legends on that side. A young side, a promising side, one to watch for next year. They're getting there, getting the final, but championship pedigree comes through, and I thought help is going to, you know, just shock the masses. But it's very hard to beat Garsfontein at home, especially having hosted the last 2 finals. It's a tough place to go and win a rugby game.
30 points to 19. Garsfontein won in the end. And I think, like you said, being at home, it's very tough for Mekaar to come and upset them. And they're going on this trend. They won the last 2 years. They did the three-peat. That's something Sput called right at the start of the season when we were chatting about all these fixtures way back in March. He said in August, Garsfontein will do the SDC Nordvaal Cup three-peat.
And the thing is, like, I mean, it's a massive call to make, and Sput made at the start. I think with the SDC Nordvaal, I mean, just to touch on it, the competition as well, it's been fantastic. This year, it's like the stories that have come through, and, you know, maybe in April we were saying, oh, it's going to be Garsfontein Nordvaal, for example. We were sure of it. Then, like, Menlo Park starts off well. Then Helpies sort of had a slow start. Transvaal makes a run in the middle. of the season, we're like, I hope they can let us back in there now. Like Transvaal makes a run where we think, okay, cool, they might be in the mix. But then you still have the likes of, the Watercliffs and guys like that who will get back, who will bounce back next year. So the STC Nordvaal was fantastic. Like Rustenburg, still one of the hardest places to go in a rugby game. And now, so like, so many stories, so many ups and downs in the season where teams found form, lost form. So I just think this year's edition is probably one of the best I've seen. And Garsfontein, through all of that, they were the cream of the crop. Only lost one game.
Yeah.
Through all of that, like, they formed sort of, we were sort of being maybe slightly harsh because we hold them to such a high standard, but they were still winning those games. And again, the cream rose, as what was put say, the cream rose to the crop, rose to the top. And in the final, I had to put up a performance, 30-19. That's how you win a final. And that's how you go, we're still the best in this competition. The next year, yes, I think the gap will come closer on both sides, but it's still Garsfontein will be the team to beat as always.
They will be, especially since they've won the last 3 years in a row. But I think nice that this year's final wasn't necessarily a repeat of last year's final. As you mentioned, the ups and downs during the season is not just because teams had ups and downs, also because it's so competitive in the STC Nordvaal Cup. So it was exciting to see that unfold this season. It was exciting to see it so competitive. And I think in our 2 King Price Derby Series matches we have to talk about as well, that's something that's also reflected, is that it became more competitive towards the end, with Bishop suddenly finding a run of form that they haven't had for the past couple of years, really, which was, as Bosch Boy, really exciting to see because we want a competitive Bishops. We want our derby to be competitive. So we can start there, 28 points to 22. It was an incredibly stressful game to watch. Rondebosch did score first off a maul, Josh Neal doing what he does so well. But then Bishops for a stage was leading the match. And Rondebosch scored a try to take back the lead. Then Bishops, they needed to score twice to win. There were 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left. And they got a penalty that was kickable. Captain said, we'll take the 3 points, slotted it. So it became a 6-point game, and they got possession at the end, and just it was a very stressful couple of minutes until Rondebosch won the ball, and then Rondebosch won the ball, and instead of kicking it out, they chose to play, and then they knocked it on. So it was like quite a stressful 70 minutes yesterday.
But it's just credit to first of all Rondebosch. Obviously, they're the Weinberg lost the week before.
I didn't even mention that they bounced back from a 43-0 defeat.
Yeah, 43-0, you bounce back. And with injuries, we mentioned the list of injuries the guys will play. Yeah. Bounce back against. It's tough to win on the parley, especially with the way Bishops and sort of everything has been so great the last month in terms of just the mood in Bishops again. Obviously, we know they struggled the last few years, but I thought Rondebosch was fantastic, because they could have easily just rolled over and gone, listen, lost 43-0, got 6 or 7 players out, so my base, we could, we don't need this. Like, you know what I mean? If it makes sense, like we could just
take it as it comes.
Take it as it comes, but it just shows that the Southern Sub, that Bish-Bosch derby is so big. And the Oaks, it's the Josh Neal, it's their last game playing for the first side, and it's special, it means a lot. And Sput mentioned, like, with Josh, like, what an incredible character, an incredible player like that, where Rondebosch kind of needed him to sort of galvanize, lead from the front. He was fantastic again. You win that game, and even like you said, Bishops was leading on the stage. I love the call they made to go because I was like,
what do you do? Do you go for the try? Do you go for the points?
I don't think take the points, then back yourself to sort of go.
Yeah. You need to score twice, and this way you can get the points now. Maybe you score a try, then you don't get a penalty. That's key.
And then, exactly. Yeah. So it was great. I mean, but it was a fantastic way for me in the season. The first Bish-Bosch, kind of, we were worried about Bishops, like what's going to happen? This can't be the case. Where are the days where it used to be tight, and then now, if you're a Bishops, old boy fan, I'm still smiling.
Yeah. Considering the season that's been, they lost one in 2023, and honestly, that it was lost close in 2023. So they've gone 3 derbies without it being close, and now finally this one close, which is good.
And the junior sides aren't too bad as well. So like it's encouraging what's happening at Bishops at the moment, and you want to sort of end the season with, I mean, like 2 draws, which they could have won, and then you've got, I mean, this game in the mix against a very good Rondebosch side. They'll be kicking themselves because they had a few chances as well they didn't take. So I just think next year it's encouraging as they're going, okay, cool. Because you mentioned, Alex, I just think you need a strong Bishops side down the Western Cape. They play special brand of rugby. They've produced some fantastic players of, you know, the Nizam Cars and guys like that, where
over 40 Springboks as well.
You know, and it's sort of a unique brand in South African rugby. You know, the no numbers, and we want them to be strong again. Because now you look at in the southern suburbs, you know, we mentioned last year how the rise sort of come in, the set sort of continued. Now you want the Bishops to get stronger and stronger, and obviously try and knock down one of the Paul schools.
Yeah, and I think, like I said earlier, as a Rondebosch boy, it's always encouraging to have a competitive derby. It's like between the Springboks and the All Blacks, we want it to be competitive because that's what gives it its heritage, that's what gives it its prestige. You go into it, you don't know who could win, it's always going to be close, like the Paul Derby was this year, and like it usually is. And the average points difference between Rondebosch and Bishops over the 200 and something matches they've played is only like 2 point something. And that's with 80-point margins in there at times in over the years. So on the average, it's very close. And I think what's good for Bishops is that form is cyclical. It comes back around. It's so rare, if ever, that we talk about a school that sort of dropped off and has never come back up again.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. They will come back up again. The under-16 match was close. The under-14As won. Bishops' under-14As won. Their under-16As beat Paul boys as well. So there's a lot of promising stuff there. And I think, I'm gonna make an early call. I think next year, it will be one apiece. I don't think either school's going to win both. So that's my early prediction. Just from the under-16s, the form of the grade 11s, I think it will be 1-1 in what we've seen now. What I'm also very excited to see is what's going to happen with Wynberg next year. Like Rondebosch as well, they're going to lose a couple of the players who've been playing SA schools. And that's something I'm interested to see. Are they going to continue dominating as they have been? They didn't score quite as many points this weekend as they did against Rondebosch last weekend. 41-10. So still very comfortable over Sachs, but maybe, I don't know, maybe because it was dry, they just they let in 10 points and they scored 2 fewer.
Are you saying they let a few points out 2 weeks ago? Yeah, a brilliant performance, you know, Alex. Just sums up their season. What a way to wrap it up, you know, just dominant show. They've been the cream of the crop in the southern suburbs. They've been the best side, and the sort of run in, yes, they got the draw against Bishops, which is mind-boggling in terms of not taking from Bishops. That when you're speaking about, you know, you speak about the Grand Slam, we all thought the problem like maybe they go 1-1 against Rondebosch. We didn't think that one would lose out on the Grand Slam
by drawing to Bishops. Who and to put something else into perspective that we actually didn't touch on last week, and I don't know why we didn't realise this. Neither Sachs nor Bishops have won a Southern Suburbs match this year. Both matches between Sachs and Bishops were drawn. And then Rondebosch and Wynberg beat Sachs and then beat Bishops. So Sachs and Bishops drew both their matches, and perhaps that's reflective of the form. But out of all of this, the match that stops Wynberg from getting the Grand Slam, drawing to Bishops, never would have said that.
No.
And yeah, I mean, then Bishops very nearly beat Sachs the week after.
And then it just shows what, but it's, you know, Southern Suburbs has been fantastic, you know, especially the last 2 years, especially because, like you mentioned, it's going to be interesting for Rondebosch and Wynberg is obviously the bounce back now. It's after having sort of losing all these guys.
These superstars.
These superstars they've had, you know, Yakin, what a rugby player.
Yakin Ahmed's been fantastic.
And so now, but again, like you look at Rondebosch, you're good in a 16 group, and then Wynberg also got good in a 6 group. So it's going to be, they're going to come in and they're going to, the juniors at Wynberg always produce, they're like almost like a factory in terms of producing good sides at the moment. And I'm very interested to see where they go to next year. That's going to be one of the stories that I'm going to be following, especially next year, is what happens with the southern schools down in southern suburbs. Because, they want to be in the mix. You know, you look at, you know, Rondebosch and Wynberg, they're in the top sort of 15, top 10-ish area. And now, obviously, you want the Sachs and the Bishops to sort of come up and sort of push them, maybe get in the top 25, get in that, in that vicinity there. But Weinberg, I mean, fantastic. Thoroughly deserved. Just had the big call I made, the one at the start of the year, the last one against Nordvaal, and then backed it up now a week ago, and then again now against Sachs, where it could easily be a little banana peel, but just dominant again, and what a season for them.
What's going to be, I think, a lot of work in the pre-season for the Sam Kings, Clinton van Rensburg, Graham Viepenaar, Nick Groom, all of them. They're going to be working hard because the Southern Suburbs are looking a bit more competitive, and that's only a good thing. Quickly, before we go to the break, I just have to break the bad news, obviously, that there is there's no, we could ignore it. There's no such thing as the Thursday Red Cap anymore. Unfortunately, there is. It's not here because Sput has taken it with him to Hilton.
Now he's got it now.
He does. And before this week, you were both sitting at 70%. Sput has gone up to 71, and Cooks, you've dropped out of the 70s to 68.6. So we've rounded it, as we always do, to 69%. So yeah, that's
tough end there. But again, Alex, I started the year making big calls, and I went out making big calls.
You did. So
and next year, make even bigger calls next year. Even bigger calls.
And unfortunately, just before we go to the break, we have a clip from Sput that you're going to see all the way from Hilton, sort of, shall we say, accepting victory of the Thirsty Red Cap.
Cooksy, Alex, hope you guys are having fun there in the studio. As you can see behind me, myself and Songi are here at Hilton College shooting a piece for you guys for Rugby on 216. So I won't be in studio today, but behind me you can see Thirsty. Our partner is also a partner here at the Rugby Coaching Clinic for Girls run by Hilton College. What an initiative it is. Cooksy, but these Thirsty banners behind me made me think of something. It won't be in studio today because it's with me, the Thirsty Red Cap. Have a good look at it, Cooksy. You won't see it for a long, long time. I told you I'll keep it close. Right at the end of the season, we were going into the final weekend all square, Cooks. You gave me a hell of a run for my money. You can be very, very proud of yourself. But alas, I will be wearing this red cap with pride as the official Season 1 winner of the Thirsty Red Cap. Thank you very much, Garsfontein, and thank you very, very much, Rondebosch, for sealing the deal for me. Cooks, I believe it's 3 out of 3 for me this week, and I think it's 1 out of 3 for you. 71% for me and 69% for Cooks. Back to school you go, young man.
Votes are in. The pick is made. It's time to find out who's earned the title of the Machine of the Week.
As Cheslin Colby said, it's time for the Machine of the Week. And the Thirsty Machine of the Week, after our final weekend of proper 15s fixtures, we'll still have a couple Machines of the Week as we go into the sevens and all of that. And we've still got to talk about our Team of the Year and all sorts of things like that in coming shows. But there were 3 matches this weekend: the SDC Nordvaal Cup final, the King Price Derby Series, Sachs Weinberg and Rondebosch Bishops. Cooks, I'm going to hand over to you and who our Thirsty Machine of the Week is for this week.
Let's start. A lot of incredible performances, but it's hard not to look past Sinead's shirt. He was phenomenal, you know, on the wing for Garsfontein, man of the match in the STC Nordvaal Cup final. I mean, he was, as a school, he was great. Just one of the best finishers we have in this country. But also just brings so much more to the game. Incredible feet. Basically sums up what Chasing with his scrum cap as well.
Yes, yes.
basically, just like what Chasing is. But again, like, you know, a few assists. He comes. I love the way Garsfontein kind of use him because, yes, obviously it stays on his wing, but he also, they allow him to come in sort of in midfield, few players, because he's more than just a finisher.
Yeah.
With fantastic hands and create. One of the best wings we have in this country. Under 18, and obviously we've seen him playing under 18, and just incredible performance again. We speak about big players performing well in the final, and Garsfontein, he's one of these superstars, and put a superstar performance, well deserved to be the Machine of the Week.
And King of the Match in that match. He's also the second Thirsty Machine of the Week from Garsfontein and the second Junaid from Garsfontein after Pasensi. So it's quite cool. I think that's maybe the first school to have 2 Thirsty Machines of the Week, but well deserved. You've probably noticed that Spud isn't here this week. He is going to be coming up a little bit later on in the show. He did an interview at Hilton with their girls' clinic that they were running over the weekend as Women's Month wrapped up around the country and on SuperSport with our Here For Her campaign. But right now, we've been talking about it and hinting about it. The 7th season is about to get underway. And a couple of weeks ago, I was at the launch of the Marius Schoeman 7s, and I sat down with Marius Schoeman himself. Have a look.
Hier kom my bokser. Kibbies? Anna? Maar waar is die Anna?
Hey, hey, hey! Hier kom die bokser, hier kom die bokser. Goed. Hier kom die bokser, hier kom die bokser.
Wow, wow! Ek sê mos, wow! Bring vir my die boks.
Okay, sure.
The Courier Guy, the courier behind the box.
Can you deliver something for me?
Where to?
Hy wys vir my. Put this one in the Springs box.
Look at man. Hey, winner.
Sure. You sure? Sure.
Yeah, man, you should.
Yes, I am sure. Look at this thing. It's presidential. What if we get caught, man? Nobody gets caught in South Africa, man.
That's true.
Now lift. I'm sure.
Don't just be sure. Be sure. King Price in sure. Insurance you can be sure about. Visit kingprice.co.za.
Welcome back to Rugby on 216, brought to you by Thirsty. I know it's a little bit different seeing me in a suit. In fact, it's the first time I've ever worn a suit on anything to do with SuperSport schools, but it's with good reason. We're at Blacksmith's Kitchen in Paarl for the launch of the Marius Schoeman 7s Festival. It's not just 7s, it's also netball and hockey, but we're interested in the 7s here on Rugby on 216. Spud and I sat down during the course of the launch and chatted to some of the people making the tournament happen this year. Marius Schoeman, welcome back to Rugby on 216. I know we chatted to you quite a while ago in Stellenbosch at the Academy of Sports, and we were talking about this Marius Schoeman 7s tournaments, and we get to talk to you about it again, wearing our suits because it is the official launch. I think just for people out there who might not know what the tournament is, because it's more than just 7s rugby. There's also Fast 5 netball, Fast 5 hockey. Just to tell us a little bit about it, where it came from and what it is.
No, thanks for having me. It's actually, it started 9 years ago. You take COVID away. It's our 7th event this year. It started in 2017. School phoned me, asked me to, can we do a 7th event, and immediately jumped on it. And in year 2, just decided to include more than just rugby. So we got the Fast 5 netball and the Fast 5 hockey, and it's just been growing ever since. We last year I think we had 102 rugby teams, 60 netball, 60 hockey. So it's I don't think we can take any more teams, but it's absolutely fantastic. Got the black tie function live draw tonight. I feel very uncomfortable in this suit. But no, it's just it's an absolute privilege, to be hosting an event like this.
Saying you don't think you can take any more teams, that almost sound like it was aimed at certain people, because I'm sure there are teams that are dying to get into the tournament because it's got so big, and that's really where I want to start. Is that 7s in South Africa? Obviously, we all know the Blitzboks and the great success they've had in recent times. Bronze at the 24 Paris Olympic Games, gold at the 22 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. an incredible run of form just after COVID, current world champions as well for the 7 series. So there's a lot of accolades there. But in school rugby, it's almost something that kind of gets relegated to the end of the season and isn't always that focused on. But a tournament like this just elevates it and takes it to the next level.
Yes, absolutely. Having been part of Sevens for so many years, I think I was there for 24, 25 years. We saw the importance of schools rugby, and it creates a feeder system, an opportunity for some players who don't necessarily do well in 15s, and who excels in 7s. That's I think events like this that gives opportunity. That's why we're doing this, to give boys and obviously girls opportunity to be seen and to use this as an additional pathway to better things.
I just think of getting to see the likes of Marcus Miller, Ethan the Tank Adams in a 7s format. That's something that excites me so much. And if we didn't have a tournament like this that brought all the best teams from across the country and so many teams that are interested in 7s together, that's not something we would see.
100%. The first time I saw Marcus and Quentin Potgieter, I think they were under 15 and they both played centre and immediately made a massive impact, and if it weren't for tournaments like this, you would probably never see them in this code. So, it was great to see them and what they can do when they have some space and some time on the ball, So, there's some players that definitely use this as a platform. I think the first player who made it to the Blitzbox back in 2017 was Christy Grobbelaar, who came through the system and he ended up playing for the 7s.
So it's a system that works then, because if people are wondering what is sort of the pathway for 7s, because it is a bit different to the 15s game and maybe it's not so clear cut in people's mind, but now you see that there is this tournament, you go there, you prove yourself, there's selectors watching, so that's sort of now a clearer pathway for these kids.
Yeah, there's no official SA Rugby pathway at schools for 7s, so that's why I think it's we have to do this, we have to, it's all about giving back, so ex-players starting tournaments. I know the high school series is also, it's really important, so it creates opportunity again for the scouts who will be here this on the 4th to the 6th of September and an opportunity for them to see the players, so I think a tournament like this really helps SA Rugby as well to unearth those talent, and we've got schools from all over. That's a beautiful thing about 7s. It's an equalizer. I remember I just spoke to one of the ex-Grey College pupils, and a couple of years ago, day 2, game 1, Grey College versus Hermanus, and Hermanus actually beat them. So there's never a favourite. And that's a beauty, an event like this, you'll see there's small, medium and big schools, and the small schools don't want to play in a separate event because they say they will never be able to play against a Grey or Paul Roos or Paul Gymnasium, so they want to test themselves against the best.
They'd never be able to play them in the 15s game, but in 7s, anything really can happen at any time. We see it in the World Series as well, how good Spain's become over the past couple of years, and how they've started making finals and really putting their name forward, while at the same time not really having a presence in 15s. And the same thing can happen in school rugby, and it all gets hosted at Pelham, your alma mater, so that must also be a point of pride as well.
I'm very proud about of Paul Gymnasium. I think facility,
especially this year,
but in all fairness, boys, I played a great game at that inter-schools, but it was probably the best schools game that I've seen in a couple of years. It's fantastic. I think Peter is probably one of the best school coaches out there. Well done to them. So
it was like a test match. So I was sitting there officially as a neutral, having not been involved with either school, but on Rugby on 2-on-6, I was forced to pick. And I'd picked Boys High, and I'm sorry, but I picked Boys High. Spud had picked Chim, Cooks had picked Boys High, so it was us versus Spud, and usually Spud will win. And so Cooks and I were sitting on the side of the field, and just the heart rate was going. It was an incredible back and forth. The momentum was shifting the whole time. And really, at the end of the day, just an incredible schoolboy rugby match. And
I'm just happy that Spud didn't commentate the Grey Paul Roos game, because we all know what would have happened there. But you're right, I'll always root for Paul Gym, but sitting there trying to be neutral, it was a great game to watch. I think rugby at the end of the day was a winner that day. There's so much talent in both the sides, you know, and I think we will hear some of those names pop up in some of our URC teams in the next 2 or 3 years.
And that's what's so good. When you have a good Paarl Derby, it means South Africa is going to get some good rugby players as well.
Rugby in South Africa is so healthy at schoolboy level. We saw the SA under 18 teams play the other day, the SA under 20s who won the World Cup. And that's what we want, you know. So I think if we can continue and obviously keep on developing those players, we'll keep that unbeaten record of the Springboks for the years to come.
And then if we look at the sevens, and obviously we've spoken a bit about the great impact this tournament is having, just to end off, where would you like to see it go with schools? Would you like to see more tournaments like this around the country? Would you like to see a league? What's the kind of thing that you think needs to happen to just keep sevens healthy in South Africa and to grow it? Obviously, if that's something that needs to happen.
Obviously, there's always a financial side to it, and then the weekends. There's no more weekends available, you know. But I think I would like to see another big event like this, maybe up in Pretoria or Johannesburg, because we can't accommodate all the teams. You know, we've got 32 teams per age group, and there's so many on a waiting list. But I do think we need a proper interprovincial tournament, SA Rugby Craven Week for Sevens, like they had years ago. I think there's a massive need for that, you know, and not only at the end of the year, but I think just before the 15th season starts as well. And it just creates another platform for Philip Snyman and the coaches of sevens to really see what talent is out there.
Marius, thanks so much, and all the best for the tournament.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thousands of people will descend on Paarl for the Marius Schoeman Sevens. We're going to be there. I'm super excited to see the action unfold. 32 teams in the under-17 age group, so there's still some school rugby to be excited for. Make sure you catch all the action on SuperSport Schools Channel 216. We're going to take a quick break here on Rugby on 216, brought to you by Thirsty. We'll be right back for Ask the Ref and the Impossible Truth after this.
We were lost for 3 days. I told him to ration the water, but he somehow went and drank every last drop in the first hour. I have a family.
We urge the public to remain calm. There is no leak. However, we have identified a thirsty individual who's responsible for this water crisis in the Western Cape.
You almost left Brackenfell for Waterkloof just because of the name. Almost.
Jason, is this true?
Yeah, that's true. I am thirsty.
Some things you don't choose. They choose you. A name, a history, a legacy that came long before you and will last long after you're gone. It's not just about the game. It's the moments that shape you. The early mornings, the long bus rides, the chants that never fade. The friendships, the rivalries, the feeling of being part of something bigger. It's a belonging, something you carry with you wherever you go. Because once you're a part of it, you always will be.
Welcome back to Rugby on 216, brought to you by Thirsty. Now, if you've been watching the show today, you know that Sput is not in studio with Cooks and I. In fact, he's up at Hilton College in KZN, and he's gone for a very special reason. August is Women's Month, and on SuperSport and SuperSport Schools, we celebrate it with our Here For Her campaign, and we bring you some incredible stories about women and girls sports from across the country. Just last week, we told you about the Girl Power Rugby Academy. Now, there's something very exciting happening at Hilton. It's their girls' rugby clinic, and Sput went to find out more about it.
I've taken a trip to the KwaZulu-Natal Midlands, and I'm sitting here at the world-renowned independent boys' school, Hilton College, where later this morning we'll have a rugby coaching clinic. But this one with a slight difference. It is a rugby coaching clinic for girls. Yes, you heard it correctly. Hilton College, a boys' independent school, will be hosting a girls' rugby clinic on the last day of Women's Month in South Africa, and with the Bok women playing Italy later this afternoon. It could not have been better timing. More than 100 girls will partake in this rugby clinic that'll be hosted on Field 2 of Hilton College. Myself and my cameraman, Songi Langeni, are privileged enough to be invited to this memorable occasion, and we'll take you along for the ride. I'm joined by Birger Nell, the Director of Sports here at Hilton. In the background, field number 2, brand new initiative, Girls Rugby Coaching Clinic at Hilton, a all-boys school. Where does this come from?
Yeah, interesting. Thanks, Put. I attended the Winter Games in June, July that's run by the Department of Sport. And I saw an under-15 girls section, and I was absolutely just blown away by what's happening at grassroots level with the girls. And I just left there, felt so inspired that, you know, at all these boys' schools, schoolboy rugby, as you know, is on another level at the moment. We sit with all the resources, we sit with all the coaches in the fields and whatever you want. And I was just thinking, how can we align this to assist what's happening in the girls' game? There's obviously a massive global trend in women's rugby at the moment, and our South African girls' side is doing so well. Yeah, so the idea came about, how can we help? How can we start a movement across the country where we can share what we've got and just trying to develop the girls' game?
Initiative started by Hilton. Are you hoping that other boys' schools follow suit? Is it a bit of a challenge to them and saying, we first, we've done it.
Yeah.
Are you guys joining?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely want to do that. So we just called it Brothers in Rugby. So we want to be a brother to all the sister schools that we have around here and all the girls in the area. And that's 100% the idea, is we want all the boys' schools across the country just to follow suit, just to take this initiative and see if they can make it better. So we can just all keep on developing and growing it.
The numbers, it's absolutely amazing. There must be 100 girls or close to 100 girls right here on field number 2. We've got Nick Hatton here, we've got Pepsi Buthelezi. So the Sharks really buying into it as well.
Yeah, I think so. The number speaks to the interest. And that was sort of the questions that was thrown at me is, you want to run this, but is there interest? My gut said there was a massive interest. And as we started unpacking this with the people in our community, we really saw that people want this. And chatting to Nick and chatting to some of the people, when we said, hey, are you guys through? Welcome to come through just to join us. And they took the opportunity immediately. I mean, they played last night and they were happy to stay on another day in Maritzburg just to come and show face and support. So it says that a lot of people believe that this is the right thing to do.
But it's also the heavyweights of Hilton Rugby is here. Brad McLeod-Anderson, yourself, Mr. Mabombo is here. So it really shows that it's not just a Bergen L thing. Hilton is buying into this.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, we at all our schools, if you go through all the top boys schools that are playing rugby, we've got phenomenal coaches. I can't think of any country in the world that got the quality of coaches that they have at schoolboy level that we have in South Africa. So we need to share that. You know, there's people with expertise that have either played at the highest level or coached at the highest level. And when I challenged them to join us, there wasn't any doubt. All of them put their hand up and say, we want to do this and we want to help and share our expertise.
So we've seen Sharks Junior Rugby really excelling over the last couple of years. And with the amount of girls pitching up here, there's no reason why Sharks Girls Rugby can't be right at the forefront as well.
No, exactly. The boys' schools have really done well across KZN to really sort of up their profile in their coaching and their recruitment. And we've got phenomenal girls' schools in the area as well that do well in all the other sports. So I 100% agree with you. There's no reason why the Sharks Girls Rugby can't go out to the provincial weeks and go and dominate.
So there's a warning for the under-16 girls week next year, the under-18 girls week next year. The Sharks is on their way, and Birger, from our side, from Rugby on 216 and SuperSport schools, well done. Brilliant initiative. Great to see the numbers, and we wish you all success.
Thanks, Put. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Nick Hatton, the Sharks Currie Cup captain, joins us here with Field 2 in the background. The girls have just started here at the Rugby Coaching Clinic. Nick, your thoughts? What a turnout, eh?
Yeah, awesome turnout. I think awesome initiative by Hilton for women's rugby, and yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Listen, you're an old Hiltonian as well. Must be proud of them setting the standard and sort of getting the show on the road.
No, I think it's awesome. I'm really proud to be an old boy. I was so blessed to be at Hilton, and yeah, when I saw what Hilton was doing for women's rugby, I wasn't surprised, and yeah, it's just an awesome initiative, and I think most importantly, what a great turnout.
It is the last day of Women's Month, 31 August, and we're standing, like we said, here at Hilton College. But it's also Rugby World Cup for the ladies, and your thoughts on South Africa and the match coming up later this afternoon against Italy?
Yeah, I think it's a big game for us. Obviously, an awesome win first up against Brazil, so I think we'll all be tuning in this afternoon and pulling them on. It'll be it's an awesome opportunity for them to get to on the bounce.
And that was sort of my question. Now, you train two times, 3 times a day, 5 days a week, then you play on weekends. Do you watch a lot of rugby in your spare time, or is it like, no, I've had enough? But you'll obviously be tuning in this afternoon.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely be tuning in. No, I think I do love watching rugby. I think there's a time and a place when you want to switch off and get away from the game. But no, I do love watching rugby. I watch a lot of rugby, and yeah, we'll all be watching in this afternoon, definitely.
So Hilton is starting this initiative, and Berger made it clear that they're sort of challenging the other boys' schools in South Africa to they call it Brothers in Rugby, to be a brother school for the schools around them. You think it's something that'll sort of light the fire of the women's game in South Africa?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the plan. This is obviously the first step, and then I think that challenge is going to be big. I think it'll be cool to see all the schools pull together and kind of get it going, because like Mr. Null said, we have all the resources, coaches, players, fields, and there's no reason why we can't kickstart it in a massive way, because obviously worldwide it's growing massively, which is awesome to see. So yeah, for KZN, I think it'll be awesome.
Springboks are out here today as well at the girls rugby coaching clinic here at Hilton. Brent Russell, what a sight this is, eh?
Yeah, I know, it's quite an event yet. It's good to see such a nice turnout. Obviously, it's a great initiative that the school has put on here, trying to get rugby followers in the women's side. So yeah, it's a nice day. The weather's great. Great turnout.
It's a belter of a day. It's hot already. Brent, obviously timing couldn't be better from an event perspective. It's the Women's World Cup.
Yes.
South Africa won their opening game. It's the last day of Women's Month. Have you seen any talent yet? I know you're running a couple of stations, helping a bit with the coaching as well.
Yeah, so there's certainly a little bit of talent out there. There's also some back to basics that's needed. But it's good to see that there's obviously a lot of different age groups here, so the strengths are obviously better in different age groups. But yeah, it is a big month. We've got a big game this afternoon. I think it's against Italy. It's the last pool stage. It's a must win if we want to get into the playoffs. So hopefully the girls can pull a good one this afternoon. And otherwise, Women's Month is always a good month. It's nice to celebrate the women in our lives, and just give them some of the credit.
Yeah, back at home they say we must celebrate them every day, not just
no.
for a month, but we do work a little bit harder in August to prove their worth. And just tell me from a South African perspective, we're very athletic as a country, and we're very strong. For the, we're very physical, to put it better.
Yes.
Do you think that'll translate into our women's game as well? And will we sort of have the same strengths than we have in our men's game?
Yeah, I think certainly we've got the potential to be a first force to be reckoned with in the women's side. We've got a lot of talent. That's a given. A lot of a diverse culture as well, which brings in different strengths. So it's obviously that's all the strengths in the men's side. If we can sort of carry it over into the women's side, I think ultimately why couldn't we be one of the better rugby playing nations, or any sport for that matter? So we've got a lot of talent. It's trying to find them early. It's trying to put the structures into place so that we can identify early, get them coaching, so that by the time they're ready to play international rugby, they've already had a long career, if you want to call it, or just the right upbringing in the game of rugby. So yeah, it's a start. You have to start somewhere. It's a good initiative to raise awareness that these girls can also play rugby.
Cindy Lukosi, the administrator for girls rugby in KZN. Welcome. What a sight to have you behind us, eh?
Yeah.
And how did this come about? I know Hilton College, started this, and they're sort of challenging the other schools now in the area as well. But it must be wonderful for you to see all these new kids being exposed to rugby?
With regards with our girls rugby, it has been out there because we produced some of the women's rugby, just to name from with our KZN, I'll name Umeri Zulu, which is also now the Springboks is also going to be in the World Cup. Happy with that. Just to show that KZN, we are working, there is some produce that is at the end with the Springbok women, because that's our end goal at the moment. With the other areas, at the moment with schools, the challenge that we're having is that schools don't have a team. So what we would do, it's either a school or an area. What we would do is we would combine, maybe Hilton would have that 2 players, Peter Mariusburg would have other 2 players, 5. So we combine those under 14, those under 15 with the age groups that we're working with, just to make the team. And also with regards to girls, how they're going to qualify to be in the provincial, what we usually do is we ask areas, like we say Midlands, can you just make a festival or a league just to get the girls playing, give them a game time, just for them to know the game, so that when we have trials, the provincial trials, it's not a matter of we have to teach the kid how to hold the ball, and we just know that these people are rooted properly, they have more game time. So yeah, from there.
It must be amazing to know that a school like Hilton, which is a boys' school, is now investing into girls rugby. And getting the word out there. And I suppose that's very important, Cindy, for girls to know that they can play.
Yes. Also with KZN, as you know, it's a cricket or soccer province, but with this kind of numbers, and also with the other areas, the numbers that we get, it's a matter of us trying to keep the girls in the game. This is what we mostly try to do, because we're trying to limit crimes, we're trying to limit the pregnancies, teenage pregnancies. So that has been helping us. And to get a school like Hilton to show interest in us, even though they don't, offer girls rugby, but we are happy with that. We're hoping even Peter Mariusburg or other schools or other clubs can maybe say, hey, can we just start a junior club? Because we don't have a junior club. Or we have a junior club for boys, but can we get your girls to join that junior club? And we try.
That's absolutely brilliant. Congratulations with what you've done so far in KZN. We know that you're going to reach great heights, and we wish you many, many, many more success stories and many more Springbok women players. What an amazing morning here at Hilton College, field number 2. The very first girls coaching rugby clinic at Hilton College. They are going to challenge other boys' schools in South Africa to follow suit. Brothers in rugby, they are going to call this project. But they have set the bar very, very high. We had Springboks here, we had Sharks here. We've got all the Hilton College coaches here. An amazing start to an amazing project and an amazing finish to Women's Month in South Africa.
If your school or any school you know of is running exciting programs like Hilton's Girls Rugby Clinic, please do reach out to Rugby on 216. You can DM us on Instagram, our social media at SuperSport Schools. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to take a quick break now on Rugby on 216. When we come back, Cooks and I will do Ask the Ref and The Impossible Truth. See you in a bit.
Bottles disappeared. Profits vanished.
It wasn't theft.
Our biggest customer became our biggest problem.
I wouldn't call it a problem. He just likes to hoy a few with the boys.
The guys in the first team used to call him Camille.
Because he was so tall.
No, not Camille Per, Camille. He used to drink 200 liters of water in 3 minutes after practice. Like a bloody camel.
Is this true, Yevon?
Yeah, most of that is true. I am thirsty.
In a world where every second counts, will he make it on time? Out here on the streets, anything can happen when the odds are stacked against you. One man finds the will, the drive, the passion to steer his path to destiny. It's a Swift.
Welcome back to Rugby on 216, brought to you by Thirsty. All we have left to do on today's show is ask the ref, and then, like when Sput was the only one here and you were over watching the World Test Championship final, you're going to give me both impossible truth statements. But let's start with ask the ref.
I think obviously, Alex, we're going from 15s to 7s. Like, what sort of, the laws tend to stay the same, but like, there are certain variations, like what are they, especially going from 15s to 7s?
Yes. So there are actually quite a few things that change, and then a couple that don't, that people think that they change, but they don't, they stay the same. And then the interpretation of a couple things. I think just to start, obviously, the time, 7 minutes each half. That's the most obvious one. A yellow card's 2 minutes, a red card is the whole match. There's no short temporary red card like in 15s.
No 5 minute red card.
No, it's just a 2 minute yellow card and then the whole match red card, that's it. Scrums and lineouts are supposed to be formed within 15 seconds as opposed to 30, but that's not really something that's policed in either 15s or 7s. Conversion and penalty kicks, you only have 30 seconds to take them from either when the try scored or the marks given, so that's obviously half the time. So that's a bit more pressure, but all kicks have to be drop kicks. At goal, you can't place kick for goal at all. Even if it's a penalty, they all have to be drop kicks. So within 30 seconds, it's kind of reasonable to be able to do that. And then I think also to do with scoring, the team that scores kicks off. That's opposite to 15s, and there is a reason for it. In 15s, it's the sort of thought is if you've just been scored against, you should be the attacking team going into the opposing team's territory. But in 7s, possession is more important than territory because, I mean, you can score from anywhere because there's so much space, so that's why it's flipped. So if you've scored, you then kick off and give the other team possession. And also, when a try is scored, in 15s, the team waits behind the try line. In 7s, you go back to the 10-meter line. You aren't allowed to wait. You have to go. So you can't charge down a conversion in 7s. And then what I think people know a lot about is at kickoff. Any of the offences that are usually the option of a scrum or a re-kick or line-out or whatever, they just are all free kicks. So if the ball goes out, if it doesn't go 10 metres, if players are offside at the kickoff, if it goes dead, it's a free kick. Just a free kick. So there's no option. That's just to speed things up. Scrums have 3 players. Line-outs, interestingly, there's no maximum number of players in the line-out in 7s. People think you have to have 3 players in a line-out at 7s. That's not true. Same as 15s, the minimum is 2 from each team. But you can have more. You can put your whole team in. You shouldn't. You shouldn't, but you can. So that's just one that people sometimes get wrong. There's no 50-22 in 7s because that's impossible to defend. You don't have people in the back. There's no try line dropouts, goal line dropouts, but we don't have that in our game anyway in South Africa. And then, that's the main law differences. And then I think the key one that you'll notice is the interpretation, is that everything's a lot quicker, a lot more black and white. If a player is holding on for a second, it's blown. If you don't roll away for a second, you're blown. It's to try and encourage the play to be fast, and we see that a lot with 7s. Play is faster, so that happens a lot quicker. So that's the main thing. And then the deliberate knock forward, deliberate knock on. In the 15s game, if there's a realistic chance of catching the ball, it's a scrum. There's no realistic chance, it's a penalty. If you prevent a potential line break or it's near the goal line, it's a yellow card. Prevents a probable try, penalty try, and a yellow card. In 7s, every single deliberate knock-on, so if there's no realistic chance of gathering the ball, is deemed to be preventing a potential line break opportunity because there are only 7 players in the field. So that's why if it's deliberate, it's always a card as well. It will always be a yellow card. So those are the differences.
That's crazy because I think the interpretation is the big one.
Yes.
And I think it's so funny, like, you know, I think it's probably easier to ref a sevens game than it is a 15s game in terms of interpretation, because, you know, it's just black and white.
Yes.
It's hold on, put it, bing.
There's no, we don't ever say leave it, roll away now. It's just blow them up if they're in the way.
Because one of those things, like you tend to have one guy sort of competing at the right time, or or even the guy will sign with steel. If they'll go, if it's on, if it's not, we need numbers on our feet. So yeah, I think that's. I mean, obviously 50, it's very hard to be as black and white as that, because it's like, you know, we can slow the ball down. There's sort of a niche to it.
And we'd be having like 60 penalties in 80 minutes.
And then there's no game, right?
Yeah.
And then so, whereas like with sevens is like, because obviously the nature of it is less players and the more free-flowing it is.
And only 7 minutes too.
The only way to kind of slow it down is sort of the breakdown and things like that. So it's easier to sort of clamp down on it. But but in general, looking forward to the schoolboy sevens season.
Very excited, and I'll be involved with Marius Schoeman sevens on the field, running around. So hopefully it all goes well. But something that has not been going well for me throughout the season of Rugby on 216 is the impossible truth. I am sitting at exactly 50%, which means, as I keep saying, I could be flipping a coin and I would be doing as well, which just shows that you and Sput do very well at messing me up. 10 from 20. Last time just one of you did an impossible truth was Sput, as I mentioned earlier, while you were in the UK, and I did get it right. So I'm hoping that is a trend that continues.
Yeah, well, the last thing is that there is the pressure slightly off, because Sput obviously, you know, you messed it up when he had the reins on his own. All right, I'm going to keep it sevens related, Alex. So, 2008, 2009, captained by Nordvaal Cup, assistant coach for the Springboks. The Blitzboks won their first World Series. That's the first statement.
Okay.
Second one, the All Blacks, the New Zealand seven side, and the Blitzboks are the only two nations to win 3 straight sevens World Series in a row. No other nation has done it.
Wow. Okay. I love the sevens theme. This is interesting. Wow. I am really skeptical as to whether the Blitzboks have won 3 in a row ever. I'm not even questioning whether anyone else has done it. I don't know if we have. And then let me think. 2008-9. Will we have won a series before then? And was Randilistic? I think he was. I think so. So that part I believe. I can believe that 2008-2009 period is when we won our first series. I don't think we've won 3 in a row. So that's why I'm going to say the 2008-2009 one is true.
Let's put down, because you're right.
Oh, yes. And have we won 3 in a row?
No.
Yes.
Only New Zealand as well. They've done a couple times.
Only New Zealand's done it.
Yeah, they've done a couple of times. I think they've won.
They've absolutely dominated sevens.
Yeah,
they
just dominated. And obviously Fiji had a bit of a run. We had that run. We did 2 in a row.
Yes.
When Philip's name when I was our captain. But I was like thinking, for 2008, 2009, it was incredible. Zonlistic was captain that side, and Paul Mbiozo was there. Coached by Paul True. Aaron Zonlistic got a last-minute drop goal in George when the sevens were in George to beat New Zealand in the final. No, it was incredible. Like last-minute drop goal in the final to beat New Zealand in George home, and that incredible run.
I would be so interested to see the stats on how many drop goals there's been all time in sevens, because that's
incredible.
Ridiculous.
But no.
Yeah. Well,
the nice thing is you're 2 from 2 against. Yes. You 2-0 against Pasavan's Put.
And that means I go to, let's see, 52%. I'm hovering between 50, 53, 53, 50.
The only thing I've learned here, my biggest takeaway is that Put and I kind of need each other for the impossible truth.
Yes.
Because when we're on our own, we fall apart.
No, it's good. I'm gonna change it that each week one of you gives it so that I can try and improve. Another thing to mention for sevens, you made me think of it mentioning drop goal. If it's a knockout game and there needs to be a decider, they play the golden point, which means you start, whoever scores first wins the match, and that's it. And it's important, whoever scores first Could be a drop goal, could be a penalty, could be a try. It's usually a try.
Also, well, most tournaments, I mean, I know in the sevens, in the national stuff, I know how it works for schools there is no draws.
Yeah.
So even in the group, in the pool stage,
you
sort of play.
But like T20 cricket.
Like golden, like sort of golden point. So that is the cool. There's always a result.
But I think I'll just put a caution out there that sometimes the competitions can change it and say first try wins or whatever. So don't crucify me if if your team loses because you went for a penalty and that didn't count.
Because Alex said on Rugby 216 they was going for a drop goal. And
Disclaimer.
And they're like, kick off again. They're like, oh, but why are we still playing?
I can't imagine that would. Don't. Because then you could have a really weird, you kick a drop goal, then you kick another one, you're leading by 6, and the team scores a try and they win. But I think the ref would just say, that you won't win if you, but cool. Cooks, that's all from us for this week. We'll be back to talk about Marius Schoeman sevens and all the sevens that are taking place and coming up over the next couple of weeks next week. But nice to have you in studio, and I think it was easier for all of us. That Spit was a couple 100 kilometers away. Today.
We're hoping next week that he was sort of had his victory speech, but he's coming back hot next week.
Oh, he is. I know. Oh, I actually can't wait because it doesn't affect me, so you can lock in and prepare for that. Thanks so much for joining us for another episode of Rugby on 216, brought to you by Thirsty. Like I said, we'll be back next week, same time, same place, Tuesday at 7 on SuperSport Schools, channel 216. We'll see you then, but for now, bye-bye.